We're back. Had to get it out of the void. Got a very, very fun one today. Give me a moment. I'm going to adjust these cameras. Where is it? Alright. On the bench today, we have a 7th generation Ipod Classic. I went ahead and did all the painful prying to separate the front and back of this particular iPod. These ones are a nightmare to open compared to, say, a 5th generation with the plastic front. Basically, it's the same back. You're just talking a plastic front versus a metal front. So to see those side by side, here's what you're looking at. So, plastic, aluminum, and I do believe on these that may, or no, that's not glass, that's plastic. So yeah, you can't scratch that, but at least the front's metal, a little bit more durable than plastic. But yeah, it's a nightmare opening up the 7th gen, and I do believe 6th generation also is a torture test to endure getting it opened. Funny thing about these old little iPods is they actually have a hard drive in them, a spinning mechanical drive. Where do we have it? I think we have it. There it is. Okay, so here's a little bit of a size reference. Okay, we have, there's a mechanical drive, 3.5 inch for a desktop, 2.5 inch for your laptop computers, and then this would be, I believe 1.8 inch. It's a ZIF drive, ZIF, and the funny thing about the size is you can rotate them all, and it's basically half of each size. Like one size going up, you rotate it and it's half of that drive, and this one's half of that. Just a funny note, no real meaning to it. Alright, so what we're doing with this thing, we have a new back. This one took quite a hit. You can see it's, judging by the glare, when the glare does hit it, that it's caved inward and has quite a few deep scratches, almost like it was stepped on or ran over, who knows. In a pocket, somebody fell, I don't know how it got to it. We got a name, Angelo, I mean, how you say it, Cianfrocco? No idea, can't say that name. Not. But we got to pull the battery out, get our headphone jack and all that. But for now, let's work on getting this little hard drive out. Is that just, that can't be a push-in. Okay, there it is, we got it. A ribbon cable popped out. These do get pretty brittle, fragile whenever you use them for a little while. Or when, not use it, but when you have the iPods years later, they do get a little fragile. So if you want to do some upgrades to your iPod, they're always good to order an extra one of those or an aftermarket one from another company. Then you have these little rubber bumper things that go on your iPod hard drive. You can keep them on it, find a little electrostatic bag and put it in. Worst case scenario, you can always default back to your old hard drive. Let's put this out of the way for now. We do have to tear this apart some. I do believe I have a battery here. We're going for a bigger battery. I don't know the size of this one. I think it's like 650, 850 milliamps. This should be a 2000 or 2200 milliamp hours. So we have a battery. Let's see what else we have in here. We have a new back, a new front, some other pieces. That would be a new button on the front, and then the little trim piece around the bottom because it's broken. And then we have the iFlash quad board, which is going to take the place of our hard drive, and we can put some SD cards in there. Let's get our parts sorted out. See if we can complete this build up today. Not bad, but we're going to need that white out of there in order to use this piece. Then we have our new, it's for a 160, so that might be slightly thicker. Let's check it. Nope, same size. Alright, so we have to move over our headphone jack, holds, what is it, hold, yeah, our hold switch, and put the bottom piece in. So I suppose we start there. We'll worry about the front in a bit. We're going to use plastic for removing this battery. You don't want to go stabbing metal in. Actually, I wonder if some heat wouldn't hurt. Let's see if we can just lift it by prying first before we... Trying to soften up the adhesive. And we killed it. So yeah, it was stuck to our ribbon cable, sadly. What else do we have? I think we do have a spare one of those. Unless it got shredded as well. You know, that was definitely stuck to it, and that was our hold switch ribbon cable. So we're going to swap over to the spare one. Which has no battery in its way for holding it in. we go in closer, we're going to have a lot of glare to deal with, but how on earth would you get one of those out? I guess you would have to remove all the screws. I'm trying to see how to get this out without ripping that in the first place. I guess you would literally have to remove your screws from the unit, or take your time separating that little ribbon cable that runs across stuck to the battery and pull it out. Alright, well, we'll put that on the to-do list. Switch from our white headphone jack over to a black one. And not stick this battery in with any adhesive, definitely. Alright, back real quick. I had to turn the AC on, so we're going to have to deal with that level of noise today. It's just, I was going to try and do this quick video without it, but yeah, that's not happening. It's a little warm here in central Pennsylvania. We in as far as we can go. Okay, so that seems like it's going to work, and pinout wise, that's my other concern. Is it even close to the same thing? I do believe it is, because we're talking 7th gen to 5th. They appear to be the same, and we're going to test it out since we had to rip this one. We're going to give it a shot. So let's throw these screws back in. So it's a black screw, silver, black, and black. It seems like I have all the original screws in the right places for this anyway, so. Alright, so that was, we'll run over that quick. Little black screw, the short black one goes here, Then you'll have a silver one with a little bit of a shank on that will go through the upper part of the hold switch. And then we have the two for the actual headphone port. Which I don't think this is going to look too bad with white. Maybe we'll just leave that and not have to deal with it opening it back up, or we just don't close it for the time being and get back to it at a later date. Go ahead and check these two screws quickly to see. I know it's not tightening down on that new case. So did we miss it, or is it just not threading in? Alright, good enough for now. We got the back almost done. Let's go ahead and pull the screws out of our other one. We'll set this new trim piece that goes in around That was a weird chime. What was that? So I'm just taking the screws out of the old smashed up iPod back. And as we can see, our piece definitely was broken apart. So, shame about that black headphone port. I'm going to remove all this later on and see if I can. I don't think you can do any soldering because of the ribbon cables, but possibly. We'll look into that for a fun learning project. So let's get this lined up. And these are directional how they sit in there. They do have a slight curve to them, at least for the 6th, 7th gen, I believe, 6th and 7th gen. I'm not quite sure. If you have one of the larger back iPods, like the 120 of the 5th gen, 120 gig ones, they will have a different profile, so the curved ones will fit a little weird. This one screw keeps going in at a weird angle, so we're going to take it out, back out, and try and put it in. Holding the piece in place, and see if it keeps letting it pop out. Alright, that part's in. Let's move on to where we can really break important stuff. I mean, the front's not bad. Do we need the button? No. Do we need the new cover? No, but we would like it. Slight discoloration. I do have to do the black thing. Maybe we'll leave that for a future project. Perhaps not. I don't know. Okay, so we do need to install our iFlash quad board. For that, we're going to fill it, and we're not going crazy on the amount of space. We're going to do something reasonable. We're just going to make this right around the 128 gigabytes that the iPod originally was, 128 gigs. The codes in these for something, or am I imagining this? No, there isn't. Alright, no codes for anything. Sometimes they'll put your product key or download link or whatever for recovery software for your SD and other media inside. Of the package. Here we go. We have our first two cards in. Let's go for number 3. And these are just, like I said, 4 32 gig cards. Nothing massive. You can take these on up to, I mean, how do I want to say that? On up to, I think, 1 and 2 terabyte. Not the cards, but the overall size of the iPod. That was 3. We need number 4. Keep all that packaging for now. Alright, there's 4 cards installed, and they have very little tolerance. Once you have this installed, connected to that ribbon cable and installed in here where it goes, it's actually going to set under these little rubber bumpers. So that's one thing to note. and it has this lip here that it sets against. So under these little rubber bumpers, your iFlash card will go, and then against this lip, and you can see that those SD cards have nowhere to pop out. They'll be sitting direct against this whole side wall of the metal frame that's on the back of the LCD. I think real quick, just because I don't trust some things, we're going to get out our widest Capcom tape, and put a strip or so along the back of that. Just because we're going to have this setting on top of circuitry, I don't want any possibility of any wearing through into the circuit board, anything. I know we have a foam pad here. I think that, I'm not sure what that's meant to do. Obviously take the place of something, but I'm assuming for if you're doing this, you will also be doing a bigger battery. Just one little added layer of protection for I think we'll switch down to that one for that center one. Alright, now we do have to trim all this stuff, of course. This our yellow one, there it is. Alright, lots of excitement. We just had barking dogs and sailors cursing and all kind of stuff. So I muted out. Right now I'm just going around trimming all the Kapton tape off of the iFlash board. Necessary to do this? I'm going to say no. Definitely not. But I don't know, I just see something rubbing in the long run, rubbing through to, if there's any circuitry, which there is some on the back, and shorting something out. We've got a moment to throw this together, and sadly we're not going to be able to finish it today. At least not today. I have to do the day job at night, but we'll at least get this part here together. And this is the fun part, putting this cable into the board. You got to plug it in quite a ways and then flip the little latch down. Once it's in, you'll flip your latch down. Then you got to get the orientation of the board right. Like I said, you have two little tabs. Let's see if we can show this better. These two little tabs of this actual circuit board that stick down, those will fit better under the edge of the rubber bumpers that you have here. So when you set your board in, they will go under it, and then the board will wedge in up here as well, kind of like that. And your little rubber bumper things are still there and just over top of, I mean, they're cut out in that same general shape, but that's one. I think, does that give us the right distance? It might. I don't know if we stick it there or where we stick it. I'm curious to find out if our battery will fit. Give me one moment. Yes, our Google business account. Again, we know. Do not hang up. Do not hang up. Alright, well, there you have it. I'm going to take a quick moment and see, are we going to be able to, because the only way I could find getting one of these batteries in is when you plug it in and flip it and leave your ribbon cable folded in a weird position, and they basically sit in about that area, and then you put your case on. But I'm not confident these are going to fit. This is going to fit in this, with this little back, possibly. There's not as much room as the 5th gen, so, and I'm dare not going to snap it together till I'm ready to. But I think we can. It looks close. I mean, look at the thickness of that. If we take out our little foam block there, I think that just may make the grade for letting the back go on. Yeah, the only way I could find to get a battery in was to flip this up, get it plugged in, and then take and fold the ribbon cable for the battery in half and let it rest like that. It's a weird thing to have to put together. Well, I'll pick this up tomorrow. We were waiting on a bunch of other things to complete, check disks and system, or error checking, system file checker on a few computers, so thought we'd do this fun little stream today. Sad we had to ruin a hold switch and headphone port for the actual 7th gen. Yeah, not what I intended to do, but hey, at least we have something we can experiment with now, see if we can maybe undo the ribbon cable without ruining it, and if that's possible, we'll try and make our own black headphone port. It's probably not going to be possible, so don't tune back in just for that sake. Alright, sorry about that interruption. That was just, somebody needs a motherboard ordered. We're going to take a look. We took a look, found one. Super expensive as motherboard repairs can be. Actually, let's turn that back on and see if it's going to work. Yeah, okay, it's real time. Yeah, motherboards can be quite expensive when it's a new laptop. Yeah, I don't know. Fun project. We'll finish this tomorrow morning. Have a good rest of your evening. Good morning, good afternoon, whatever time, wherever it is. If this is your thing, this is what you're into, you know how to do it, somebody needs it done, give them a hand. Fix something old instead of, buying new. Although, the new products, they are mighty tempting to get. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time. I think that should end it, if I'm not mistaken. And it's working. Alright, I'm out.